Good morning, everybody. It is time for Tao of the Day. I am here as usual. I suppose this is this is just something very expected, like the sunrise, right? Yeah, I am like there was a time a very close friend of mine called me Reliable Martin, right? Like I am a reliable dude. um, but either way, this is Tao of the Day. This is where we talk about the Tao. I invite you up to pick a number between 1 and 81, and I will read your Tao for the day. So the Tao Te Ching consists of 81. I don't know what I'm talking about now. 81 verses or chapters or stanzas. I go through this every time. So if you are listening to this on the podcast, yeah, I say it every day. I don't know what to call them, but there are 81 of them. And the Tao Te Ching is an ancient text written 600 BCE. Oh, my buddy Marcy is coming up, and I'm not gonna pick a number for you today.
Why not?
I I did that once, and actually I was after you got off, I was kind of going on. I think this is about me.
Let's see. Somebody asked me, they said, I heard Martin John calling you Marcy. Is that a nickname? And I said, well, that's what he calls me. I think I got somebody a little bit jealous.
Ooh, look at that.
Yeah. I won't say who it is, but his name starts with D and ends with arrow.
Ah, yeah. So
I'm such
I
a
won't
jerk
say his name
sometimes.
either.
Let's see, what number? I feel like I've done all the ones that I really want. We
Okay.
did 13 before. We did 11.
Because you have like a lot of those are birth dates and stuff, right?
No, no.
No.
11 is my lucky number.
11 is my lucky number. My
Yeah. No,
lucky
I'm sorry, not
number.
11. 13 is my lucky number.
You know,
It's all, the letter M is the 13th letter in the alphabet.
the letter N.
M like Marcella.
Is it?
Yeah.
Like Martin.
Like
You
Martin,
think
yeah.
I'd know that? Because like my birthday is June 30th.
Oh,
And
you're
so
a
that's like in the
Cancer.
middle. Yes, I'm a super
Aw,
Cancer.
well that makes so much sense now.
Yeah, I'm a feeling connecting like
It's okay. My oldest son is a Cancer, and he's my favorite person.
yeah.
Can't tell the little
He's
one.
my favorite person. Like Cancers are the best.
They are. My favorite sister is a Cancer, and my daughter, who is trans, is a Cancer. So
Oh, good.
yeah, so all
But
these
M is
beautiful
the
people.
13th letter. Yeah, I guess there's 26. So my birthday is June 30th. I feel like it's right in the middle of the year. I M is, the first name of, first letter of my name, and that's right in the middle of the alphabet.
Yep.
And like I like this, and I was the middle child.
Stuck in the middle with you.
That's right.
Yorker to the left of me. Clowns to the right. Here I am. Yeah, that's us.
Yeah.
Um, so I think we did 13, yes?
Yeah, I believe so. I
And we
can I
did
can
11, because
read you
11
the
is a power
first
number.
line. Success is as dangerous as failure. Yeah,
Yep,
you and I
yep.
discussed
And we did 11 because 11 is, in numerology, 11 is my number.
that. Okay.
So I'm trying to think. And I think randomly I chose numbers. And how about 66? Did we do 66? I feel like we did. I did. No, I think it was 67 we did.
All streams flow to the sea because it is lower than they are.
Oh, yeah. Let's do that one.
Okay. Humility gives it its power. If you want to govern the people, you must place yourself below them. If you want to lead the people, you must learn how to follow them. The master is above the people, and no one feels oppressed. She goes ahead of the people, and no one feels manipulated. The whole world is grateful to her because she competes with no one. No one can compete with her.
Well,
So I do this last line, first line thing.
yep,
Because she
yep.
competes with no one, no one competes with her is where we end, but we start at, can I have a coffee?
Yes, I'm making you a cup.
Thank
Come
you.
on over.
All streams flow to the sea because it is lower than they are. Humility gives it its power. So humility gives it its power. And the last line is because she competes with no one, no one can compete with her.
Okay.
How do those connect for you?
I don't know if you've ever heard any of my talks, but I always say I'm not in competition with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
You do you. I'm gonna do me. We are the world, etc. You know.
Yeah.
And I don't know the whole thing about humility. I do tell people when they say things to me, I become very humbled.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to get a swollen head. So when people say, "Oh, you're the goddess," I jokingly say yes, and other times I say, like deep inside, I say thank you. You know.
Right. Yeah. It's, I wrote my email for next week, and it's all about receiving. It's about being able to receive. And here we talk, like all streams flow to the sea because it is lower than they are. Humility gives it its power, and it also holds the power of receiving. Because if you resist, right? Like if you resist the receiving, maybe there's a place in your life you're not allowing yourself to be humble because it's like, or I don't know, but there's something interesting about that receivership and being humble, and then also like not competing.
I think I mentioned to you that last year I had done a class. It was a Vision Quest class with some individuals that I know, and that at the end of it, we're after really diving deep into your subconscious and your thoughts and you as a person, you're supposed to group up, and each group is supposed to pick words that describe each person. And from those three words, you put them together and come up with three new words. And then you hand them over to the other group so they can pick a name for you, an avatar for you. And the whole time they did this, I had three words chosen for me were grief, magic, and I can't remember the last one. It's so weird. I can't. Oh, warmth, grief, magic, and warmth. And when we sent those words, we chose different words from those three. And when we sent them over to the other group, they said, they knew who it was. They said, "We know who this is. This is the most powerful person in the room." And we think her avatar is the sea, all the seas of the world.
Yes.
So you're just bringing me right back to that with this doubt
Yeah.
because it's just more I have to accept.
Yeah. It takes a lot to accept. It takes a lot to receive the power and to receive who you are. Especially when we get stuck in our head about like defining others different from us and making it look like constantly checking out in the world, like looking out in the world and seeing that separation, but that separation isn't really there. And so when we can get into that place of being like truly humble, of being all things, like truly humble as the gods that we are, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's this paradox here of like, and I don't know if you heard Dr. Rao's talk this morning. Dr. Rao was talking about, hey, my mind, I'm not interested in what you have to say. Like let's just be here together. Um, and then this verse goes on and it says, if you want to govern the people, you must place yourself below them. If you want to lead the people, you must learn how to follow them. And all of this, although we are talking about governing, but that's governing your body. That's being humble in the face of the awesomeness of your body, in the awesomeness of your mind. It isn't that you allow your mind and body to dictate the day. so you learn to follow your mind and body, but not to the point that you lose yourself. I'm just going off on a tangent here
Yeah,
on that.
no, again, like I say, I become very humbled when I hear these
Yeah.
things.
Mm.
I don't let too much go to my head. Even when Daniel F. Harb says, "You're the queen of wisdom," and I say, "I am the queen," I still sit there and I go, "He's sweet, you know." It's sweet of him to say that. Or Mojo. Mojo sometimes will call me.
You're the god of wisdom.
You hear that?
Wow. Is
Luna.
that
She
your
just.
daughter?
You said so.
I said so because Daniel F. Harb was saying it the other day. Mojo says, "The goddess of all things is dark and beautiful," and I laugh every single time because I'm not expecting it.
Yeah,
I'm just Marcella.
that's right. And to me, you're Marcy.
To you, I'm Marcy. To Luna, I'm mom or mommy, depending on the day. Or
Yeah.
BF or bestie. That's the other thing she calls me. You're my bestie.
Aww.
So
Oh, Luda.
she's so great.
um, the master is above the people, and no one feels oppressed.
Well,
You
that's
know, and I think
because
this
the
is. I
master
think this
doesn't.
is just like you're addressing, where
Yeah.
like people are talking about you as the queen and as the goddess, and nobody feels oppressed by your being that, and you're even inspiring other people to call you that, because you're not owning that mantle, but you get to be yourself in this moment to such a degree that that is exuded.
Okay. Again, you're humbling me. Um, I think I think everybody's a god in their own right.
Absolutely.
We're the gods of our own beings, our own physical being. And to someone, each one of us is a king or queen. And if not, we should be that person to ourselves.
And I think, you know, from moment to moment, we are going to be going back and forth from the teacher to the student. And here the master is above the people and no one feels oppressed. She goes ahead of the people and no one feels manipulated. As long as we're not feeling oppressed and manipulated, we can be who we are, which at times is going to be the master. We're going to be ahead, but no one's going to feel oppressed.
I wouldn't want anyone to feel that way anyway.
That's right. And it's not that you are ahead. You're just living. It's not like you are the master of others or governing others, but you are able to inspire, and you are able to get others and yourself to move in a direction in which they are choosing, because they're not feeling oppressed, because they're not feeling manipulated. They are moving in a direction they choose.
Well, I would like, doesn't mean it's going to happen. I would like for everyone to honor themselves. It's important.
That's right. And that, and there's that master within each of us. And then the whole world is grateful to her. That's this sentence before the end comes. The whole world is grateful to her. Grateful to her. And that is that master within us.
Like the sea.
We have a
It
place
is
to
the
go and
sustainer
it
of
can be
life.
received.
Okay, I receive it.
Because she competes with no one. No one can compete with her.
Yeah, I don't feel like I need to compete with anyone. We're all here doing our own thing. And I mean, if I can support someone in their journey in any way, I will try to. I don't like the word try. If I can, I will do it.
Well, You will do you, and that will
Absolutely.
support people who require the support from you in the way that you offer it. It's not like like you said, you don't like using the word try. Why try to support someone? If you tried to support somebody, you are going to do it wrong, right? Because like there's no way of knowing what somebody needs unless they outright they're like, could I get $1? Can I get a french fry? Like those are things that we can offer, but there's no competition. You are here doing yourself as you are, and you are going, and by doing that you are going to support more than you could ever have even imagined.
I'm just going to say thank you.
Hmm.
Thank you for
Absolutely.
letting me visit you this morning.
Mm.
And I hope you have a wonderful day.
I wish you the best. Have a wonderful day, and send Luna my best as well.
She's sitting right next
She's
to me.
got
She can hear you.
Okay, Luna. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope
too.
you are enjoying your breakfast. Breakfast is like I look at breakfast. So there's a number of different ways I have looked at breakfast over the years. I'm not a sweet breakfast guy. But and especially now because I'm on a very special diet because of my MS. But uh, breakfast is just simply when you break your fast. So last night you ate dinner, and then maybe you had a snack, and then you went to bed, and then you did not eat for 8 hours, 9, 10, 12. I don't eat for 16, but you don't eat for a long period of time, and then you break your fast. That's where the name comes from. So this is the breakfast is, you know, is the only meal that some people have, because even if you only eat lunch, like the Spanish eat lunch like in the afternoon, 2 o'clock, and then they take a nap. It's a great world. Like I want to get out there. I'll tell you what. um, and but that even though that's their lunch, this is where they're breaking their fast. Right? So um, thank you, Marcy. I appreciate you and Luna coming up and hanging out with me this morning. You guys are, teamwork makes the dream work, and you guys are a great team. So if anybody's out there and has a number between 1 and 81 you want to select, why don't you come up, and I would love to have you and chat about the Tao. Mark Child is coming up and joining me. Mark, how are you doing? It's been a couple days, a
Things are
week or
good.
so since we've talked.
Man, has it been that long?
I don't know, but it seems like either way, it's nice to see you.
Oh man, I might have to get better then. So, yeah, man, the day's well. The week has been um, wildly productive. Things that kind of had been not shelled, but had been worked on in previous months have started to actually bear fruit. So, I mean,
Oh, you and
things.
me both, man. You and me both. So I hope everybody's going through this right now. Like just
Yeah, it's just been a it's been a great transition. I mean, things had to let some things go, and some things are not.
I think that's happening across. I think a lot of people are going through this transitional stage. I think
Yeah.
that there's some shedding, and then once you kind of clear, once you clear the ground cover, you can get new growth.
Oh, most definitely. I think that so just this week alone, it's been not just from wisdom talks, but just from reality and personal relationships and business relationships. It's all been eye opening and heartwarming, and ups and downs. But I mean, it's been what it's needed to be.
Yeah. Well, and that's the great thing about Tao, right? It's like if you can just put your faith in Tao, in this idea that like there is always ebb and flow, then and really put your faith in it. And I don't mean this in the sense of just like don't get caught up in this moment. Don't get caught up in your mind. Dr. Rao did a talk this morning all about like, hey, my brain, my mind, I don't have to listen to you. You can have your thoughts and that's cool, but like I don't have to sit here and be victim to them because my thoughts are just as physical as my body. And if I focus on the pain of my body, then guess where I go? To the pain. And if I focus on the distraction of my thoughts, guess where I go? The distraction of my thoughts. But what's here right now? Like really? And when we can get there, then we can kind of let go of all of that expectation of what we, like, uh-oh, I got to get rid of things, or uh-oh, this isn't working out, and all of that.
Oh yeah,
You know.
I
So
do.
so 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 yeah, give me a number, Mark. Let's look at what we're gonna focus on today.
I got you, man. Let's do. Let's see. Let's do 106.
There's only 81.
Oh, 81. I don't know. Well, let's do 16.
16. Wonderful. Just got rid of the zero there.
Correct.
So I really like it.
Into
Like
nothingness.
I'm looking at my notes and I got Marcy and then Mark, right? And so there's like two marks and an I. That's wonderful. Like it's just like lots of repetition.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, this was just what I was saying. This is a beautiful Tao for you, especially after we just talked about what we did. So empty your mind of all thought. Let your heart be at peace. Watch the turmoil of beings, but contemplate their return. Each separate being in the universe returns to a common source. Returning to the source is serenity. If you don't realize the source, you stumble in confusion and sorrow. When you realize where you come from, you naturally become tolerant, disinterested, amused, kind-hearted as a grandmother, and dignified as a king. Immersed in the wonder of the Tao, you can deal with whatever life brings you, and when death comes, you are ready.
I can dig it. And that's actually kind of funny with the death thing because I just finished the book, The Desire of Death.
Oh, tell me about that.
It's just a book basically that speaks about how other cultures view death and how it's more like here in the Western culture we view it as this passing and it's a loss for us. Wherever in the East it's more of a rising to the next. So you've kind of risen out. So they don't really view it as much as loss, as much as their journey here has ended, but their spiritual journey has just begun. Where here we view it as loss, then our journey begins.
Right. It's also interesting because the way I look at it, especially as it relates to this, um, the death could also refer to like, remember when there was a time when you would go out with your buddies and drink, and then it was like, wait, you know what, this isn't good enough, and I'm going to grow to this next stage, and that's a death as well.
It is. And I just the fact that it came up just from, like I said, me reading the book and everything else. But I mean,
Yeah.
that's what that book was kind of designed for, the denial of death. And I think even in that, just in the title, when you go back and look at it, a lot of times we look back at the things in life that, like not going out is a death, and ending relationships is a death of that relationship.
Yeah.
Ending ending business partners or ending businesses is the death of that business. I think that sometimes we may cling to the way that we did business or the way that we used to do things. So we killed the activity, but we didn't kill the habit.
Right. Right. And I think like not talking about it and like using it as a taboo, or not, like even in relationships, never talking about the fact that this is going to end, like, and all of those sorts of things, like that is really denial of death. But, that often comes from fear.
Oh, I think that we have, especially as just the word, fear. I think that we have given it. It's got such a beautiful connotation with what it actually. You can use fear. It's
Mhm.
not a thing to actually just be afraid. I mean, use it to step into something. Become fearful, and you're no longer afraid.
Yeah. You know, as this starts, you know, empty your mind of all thoughts. Like, where does fear come from, right?
Yeah.
You know, let your heart be at peace and watch the turmoil of beings, but contemplate their return. Their return, and as this one we know, this one ends in that concept of death. Watch the turmoil of beings, but contemplate their return. It doesn't mean contemplate their death, but their return to that source that we reference in the middle, that source. But that's a death of the turmoil. Watch the turmoil of beings, but contemplate their return.
Yeah. I think a lot of this, I mean, especially just hearing this side of it, is that you're killing one thing and or watching one thing die, and it's telling you to keep your heart open for when the time for this, whatever it is that you're working on now, its life expectancy ends as well, and
Yeah.
not going through the turmoil of previous dealings or dwellings on it because you understand that it's coming.
Right. Like, know that there is growth that's going to come from this, and that growth is going to, you know, like, be instigated sometimes by a death. But that doesn't mean we have to stay here. This is why we have to empty our minds of all thoughts, and what Dr. Rao was talking about this morning in his talk, where it was all about, like, hey, your mind don't know shit. Well, you gotta just like let it have its thoughts, and that's fine. But if you follow the thoughts, that's where we're starting to engage in that turmoil.
Yeah, if
Each
you go,
separate going.
I was going to say, if you lean, that's the direction you're going to go.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. And you know, if you're felling a tree, you're gonna have to make sure you know which way it's leaning.
Yeah, because it's going to go whichever way. You know, I saw this reel last night, which kind of ties into this, and it's not, to me, it's not at all spooky. I enjoy this type of stuff, but the thing
Yeah.
is he said this was a well-respected leader. He deals with leadership development and stuff like that, and I saw his video, and he said something about like he had wanted to quit smoking, and everything he had tried to do never worked. And then when he made up his mind to stop, he had to also stop his mind from telling him that he needed to smoke. So he was like,
Yeah.
he made the decision, but then there was also the decision that once he made it, it was going to come back around. Whatever situation that he used to smoke in, or wherever, made him want a cigarette or any of that,
Yeah,
he
he
had
was gonna
to,
get triggered.
yeah, it was going to get triggered, and his mind was going to start telling him, might as well just grab a cigarette. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's all you
Grab
gotta do. You
grab a
want to
cigarette.
stop? All you gotta do.
Yeah, you don't have to stop anymore. You want to start, grab a cigarette. If you want to stay stopped, blah 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 blah. And he was like, when you stop listening to the part of your mind that is telling you go this way, and you follow your heart and listening to all of your inner frequencies instead of your mind frequency, then you begin to have willpower, which was not. I mean, he wasn't related
Yeah,
to will.
it's not. It's yeah. As someone who also talks about addiction, I always tread lightly with that term.
Yeah, well, he said it. Well, I mean, he said it in himself. He was like, you have this willpower that's not willing you to do anything. He's like, you have to break your cycle in your mind because your mind is what will determine where you go. And I was like, that's just wild.
And yeah, and you're right. And your mind is the thing that's often, there's a lot of words. There's a lot of words. There's mind, and there's all these things. It's like you have to not care about what your mind says, because your mind is going to tell you a whole bunch of shit that just ain't true.
Yeah,
You know,
it's gonna
you
push you
have
in a direction.
right. And that's why this verse starts with empty your mind of all thought. You know, it continues to say each separate source, each separate being in the universe returns to the common source. Returning to source is serenity. And this is the common source, is that deep. I mean, we can call higher power, we can kind of use a lot of fucking terminology, but it's you. It's really who you are. It's not who you see, it's not who you who you are. It's not the smoker, it's not the drinker, it's not the angry person, it's not the man, it's not the woman, it's not the things that you identify. It's the you that is in there. And if you can contemplate their returning to source, then that's the thing. And if you can contemplate your returning to source, knowing that like you're gonna die, knowing that this is gonna end, but not rushing towards that. Whatever this is, even the anger, even the addiction, this is going to end someday. Now, can I empty my mind of thoughts so that day can be today? And if not, cool, no big deal.
Yeah.
Because and then it continues, if you don't realize source, you stumble in confusion and sorrow. That source is that place you're headed. If like if you're 21 years old and you're heading towards alcoholism, it's just like, are you going to drink forever? Maybe at 21 you can be like, well, no, not like this. Well, then what are you drinking like this today for? Like if tomorrow you're going to struggle with this. This is where the confusion and sorrow take place, because you don't realize that you're attached to something greater than you are right now. You feel trapped in this body, in this identity that you hold on to.
And then you stay on the ride a lot longer than you should.
That's right. A lot longer than you should. A lot longer than you want to.
Yeah.
And it's not about shoulding, but it is about understanding, do you like this ride? Because you can get off. If
Yeah.
you realize where you come from, you become naturally tolerant of others. You become disinterested in smoking and in all of the bullshit that life has to offer you that doesn't bring you anywhere. You become amused by the ins and outs of things that are happening, but just amused. You don't have to get involved. Kind-hearted as a grandmother and dignified as a king.
I love it. I love it. I always enjoy having these little kind of uplifting moments with you.
Well, yeah, I
Yeah.
appreciate you coming up. The last couple lines here I'm going to read, and I know you're going to get dropped off, but if I don't get you, I really appreciate you.
No, you're fine.
Yeah. Immersed in the wonder of the Tao, you can deal with whatever life brings you, and when death comes, you're ready.
Love it, my man.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day, Mark. So beautiful. And yes, wow, that was so good. What a nice coverage of number 16. I don't know, am I getting better? Give me a clap. So immersed in the wonder of the Tao, you can deal with whatever life brings you, and when death comes, you're ready. And as we were talking about all of that, we were talking about being present with where you are. Do you, like one of the talks that I gave not long ago is, do you like that you're doing this? Like, ask yourself this question. Do you like that you're doing this? Do you like that you're smoking? Do you like that you're watching TV? Do you like that you're eating this third cookie? You might like the cookie, but do you like that you're eating a fourth one or a fifth one? Or do you like that you're finishing the bag of cookies? Like, whatever it is. Like, do you like that you're doing it? That's a big question, because if you can ask that, you can be like, oh, you know what? I don't like that I'm doing this. That's fine. But recognizing that you don't like it is the key, because you don't have to change what you do today. But I'll tell you, if you ask yourself, do I like that I'm doing this? And then you say no, all of a sudden your entire life can change. Your life can change because all of a sudden you are aware of something that you don't like that you're doing. Does that mean you're going to do it tomorrow? Maybe. But what it really means, because although you might do it tomorrow, what it really means is that you're definitely going to be aware of it tomorrow. Whether or not you do it is still a is still up in the air. But the fact that you're going to be aware of it is 100% true. Tomorrow you are going to be aware that you don't like this thing that you're doing. And that seed is going to start to grow. And that seed is going to bear fruit. And that's going to be the fruit that is going to be the future of you. And that is when death comes, you are ready. That's why we plant that seed. We ask that question. Do I like that I'm doing this? Not do I like doing this? Because of course you like in this moment, you like this cookie. Sure. In this moment, you like being angry. But do you like that you're being angry? See, that's the thing. Like this is that deep want. Like, yes, I want to be angry because it feels good right now to be angry. But do I like that I'm angry? Big different question. Right? That's a huge question shift. Yes, I like smoking, but do I like that I'm smoking? Yes, I like Oreo cookies, but do I like that I'm eating them? Do I like that I'm not like I can say I like that I don't talk to my dad, but then I can say, do I like that I'm not talking to my dad? And actually the answer to that at the moment is yes. So all is well. Like I know that I'm good. Now, if I ask myself that question in a week and then that answer changes, like, well, then I have to address that. Then I'll be aware from that moment forward. Just to kind of give a little background on that, my dad told me not to call him ever again, and then he sent me a text on Easter, and I was just kind of like, I don't know what to do with this. I'm just gonna drop it. So I feel fine about all that, and I might not in the future, right? Like, because I know I can do better. So now I'm starting to notice maybe I don't like that I'm not talking to him. Maybe I'll send him a text today. See how that works? And then all of a sudden we plant the seed and grow, right? That's what we do. We just plant the seed and we let it grow. It doesn't mean I have to interact a lot, but yeah, and that's great. And that's what I'm seeing here, right? We can allow the death of something, and then when death comes, we're ready. We can just and so receive that, right? Like as we were talking with Marcy, this whole concept of uh, everything flows into the ocean, and the ocean is open enough to receive it all. Just bring it in. Just bring it in. Just bring it in. And empty your mind of all thoughts. Like all those thoughts come in, but they're not separate thoughts anymore. It's all part of the whole. Let your heart be at peace and watch the turmoil of beings, but contemplate their return. All right. So Marcy joined me for 66. Mark joined me for 16. Anybody have a number that you want to cover in the Tao today? Yeah, nobody's here. So love you guys. We could end this nice and short Tao of the day today. All right. Well, I'm Martin John, your host of Tao of the Day in the Recover Yourself podcast. I really, I'm excited about putting out a couple, a couple episodes of the Recover Yourself podcast. And one thing I want to tell everybody right now is that tomorrow, I believe I said 4 o'clock Central, I am going to be hosting a room that is going to be titled Ask Me Anything, all about my dark retreat. So tomorrow, I'm going to kind of put the dark retreat away. I'm going to do this final sort of like Ask Me Anything tomorrow, 4 o'clock Central. Tomorrow, Friday, 4 o'clock Central. And if you have any questions, you can DM me questions through Instagram if you're not going to be able to be here and want to listen to the recording. You can come on, and I'm going to have I'm thinking a 5-minute time span for me to talk to folks, so you'll be able to join me for that, and you'll be able to ask me your question. I'll be able to answer, and you'll be able to have a little time to ask more questions if your question yields more. So I invite you guys to check me out tomorrow, 4 p.m. Central. and I am looking forward to answering your questions. I may do a couple rooms because I do know that the recordings um, only last for 2 hours. So, because of that, and I want to have this recording as part of the Recover Yourself podcast because I will be posting a podcast. I just want to get the whole recording. I may actually just set up my mic and record it separately as well. I don't know why I'm telling you this, but love you guys. I think you're awesome. I'm Martin John. This is Tao of the Day. I'm going to give you guys a couple more seconds. If you guys have a number that you want, if anybody's out there and has a number you want to pick between 1 and 81, I will take that number now. Otherwise, I'm going to be checking out, and you guys have a wonderful day. I think you're all so beautiful and wonderful, and I'm looking forward to connecting with you again. Until next time. Whoop, 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 whoop. Sonia is coming in just as wow. Nice call. I was about to jump off. Sonia, how are you?
Morning.
Good morning.
I'm good.
Right on the line. Good, beautiful. I love it.
I thought I haven't talked to you for so long, so I thought
Oh, I love your
pop in.
your green avatar.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought I'd try different colors,
Yeah, that's beautiful. I love it. Like a very, very spring. Very spring. Are you in
Yeah.
the north? You are in the north. You're in the States. Are you in California?
No, I'm in Canada. I'm actually
You're in
in the
Canada.
Western Province, which is in British Columbia. So
Oh,
just north of California.
yeah. All right. So you are in the Pacific time zone. Do you guys do daylight savings up there?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
do.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah,
beautiful.
so we're functioning under Tijuana time, actually. You know how.
I
So,
do. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, so my number is 21 today.
21. Let's look at 21 together. Sonia, it's so good to have you. Okay. The master keeps her mind always at one with Tao. That is what gives her her radiance. The Tao is ungraspable. How can her mind be at one with it? Because she doesn't cling to ideas. The Tao is dark and unfathomable. How can it make her radiant? Because she lets it. Since before time and space were, the Tao is. It is beyond is and is not. How do I know this is true? I look inside myself and see. That's 21.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. So
Kind of
what are some of
describe.
your thoughts?
It kind of describes my journey, actually. you know, I have been,
Yeah.
myself and Dr. Rao and his
Yeah.
wellness club, right?
Yeah.
And so it's been like kind of going inwards, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
of course, that's kind of interesting, right? So I never really look at the Tao before. So it's like, I did 7-7 with you last time. And so
Yeah.
today is 21. And yeah, I mean, it's along of the line of what my journey is, I feel, right?
Yeah. I think so. And ultimately at the end of this, we end this, I look inside myself and see. Like what a beautiful
Yeah.
way of understanding truth,
Mhm.
right? It's
Yes,
like,
this is what I'm searching for.
yeah, like so often we get caught in finding truth outside of ourselves, in our bodies or in our mind. But there is truth beyond that.
Mhm.
And that is what we look for, right? We look inside ourselves to find that. And when we say inside of ourselves, it's not in our thoughts and it's not in our body,
Mhm.
right?
Exactly. Nice.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I want to continue by going through this line by line. And, I look at this and we have this first section which says, the master keeps her mind always at one with the Tao. That is what gives her her radiance. So this is just stating a fact.
Mhm.
The master keeps her mind always at one with the Tao. And Dr. Rao talks about this, right? Always be there. Like
Mhm.
no matter what you're doing, even while you and I are talking, stay at one with the Tao. Stay at one with Brahman. Stay at one with the the you that isn't you, the great I, right? The you
Mhm.
that is all things and connected. And there is no need to get lost in thought. We are here present. The more we think and the more we pay attention to what we're thinking, the further we are from being here.
Mm.
And this is that fact that says the master keeps her mind. And Dr. Rouse is always there. And, like I feel like because I've been studying the Tao for so long, like I have an access to the Tao. Can I always be there? I would I would tend to say no. I do get caught in thought, but once I do, I can take myself out of it. I
Mhm.
can remove myself from that thought. So
Yeah.
this is
And
this is the master, and this is the ultimate, right? This is the way. This is the direction we want to go.
mhm. It's not that I can remove. It's just more of the observation. This is the practice that we do each morning, right? So that way, it's 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 the little distance between the mind and the body, right? And
Right. And it's about attaining something that isn't practice. It is about
mhm,
attaining something that isn't a thing at all. And here we say that's what gives her her radiance. And she's at one with the Tao. So these are the two things, these are two facts that are in this
mhm,
first section that we're going to then break apart. So the next section states the Tao is ungraspable. So that which we are trying to grasp by moving, that which we are trying to grasp by meditating, that which we are trying to grasp, that is ungraspable.
mhm.
And so there's
It is
always
beyond physical, right?
right.
So,
It is beyond everything, right? Like it is beyond thought because thoughts are, like thoughts can be seen as non-physical, but they're definitely physical. They're happening in our brain.
mhm,
The
yeah,
Tao is ungraspable. And so, how can her mind be at one with it? And
mhm,
this is the key because she doesn't cling to ideas, just like Dr. Rao says, don't think.
mhm,
Like don't follow, don't cling to the thought that you're having. Don't follow the thought that you're having. Just let it go. Just let it, like, observe it and don't cling. Don't hold
mhm.
on to it.
Yeah. It's yeah, I mean, like, it's quite an interesting, like, way of looking at things. Like, it's like, the movie and the screen. I know that with Dr. Rao and Bupinder talking about, just watching, the thoughts and have draw no emotions to it, just observing and of course letting it come and everything, but don't put too much emphasis on the thoughts, right?
Yeah.
So I thought, the practice is such an awesome. Every time that heavy emotions trigger inside me, and so we practice that kind of the breathing, and of course, just
Hmm.
letting it pass by and observe, so that way you can be the true you kind of thing, right?
That's right.
So,
And that's,
mhm,
in all the things that I do, like even my other podcast is like recover yourself,
mhm,
because like y- you're giving up that self by layering on top of it all of these thoughts, all of these things. And it's like, let's recover, let's uncover all of that which you are, because
yeah,
you are greater than that.
mhm,
So then we have the next line, which talks about that other, giving it her radiance, the Tao giving her her radiance. The Tao is dark and unfathomable. How can it make her radiant? Because she lets it. She allows it to. She allows it to make her radiant.
mhm,
How have you found in your practice that your ability to be radiant increase?
mhm. I don't worry as much anymore. So, in that sense, I just like fall into it. Whatever I do, this is kind of like, just enjoy, and I don't put too much significance. I mean, like, we have goals and stuff like that, on what we want to do. But like Dr. Well was saying, right, the process is what you absorb and kind of let yourself go. And whether it's the creation in terms of the art and mastery, not like the creator creation kind of thing, but certainly what you are trying to do, right? And that way you can lean into your best kind of thing, right? Whatever, and flow, and
Yeah, the flow. Like I would, like your best, whatever.
mm,
Like it's
yeah.
not, like that immediately brings about, like, as soon as you have a best, you have a worst, you have all of these sorts of, and so I would just just always kind of looking at that, like always looking at, like, if this thing is ungraspable, as long and it's dark and unfathomable, when you go into it, there's nothing
Mhm.
but it's all there.
Yeah.
How can it make her radiant? Because she allows it to. She can stay there. She's not trying to grasp anything. She's just here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
You know,
a
and this is,
beautiful practice.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
this next line really gets us into a space of thinking differently a little bit, because since before time and space were, the Tao is. By utilizing the word were and then utilizing the word is, Stephen Mitchell here, or Lao Tzu, depending on how it was translated, are breaking a rule of English, which is, the time has to be the same, right? Like if you were to say this sentence as, said under the guise of the English language, before time and space were, the Tao was, is how you would express it in terms of time. But we're making the point of saying Tao doesn't give a damn about time. Tao is greater than time. And when you touch Tao, you are touching something that is beyond time. Since before time and space were, because time and space, once it's created, now we have present, future, and past. But before time and space were, the Tao is.
yeah. That's the time and space thing is quite interesting too. If you were really looking into it, right?
Yeah.
I no, I mean, it's quite profound actually. I mean, I don't know how to explain it. Like,
No, and if you could, would it be the Tao? No, it wouldn't. Because it's unfathomable. It's
yeah,
ungraspable. It's bigger than that. And so no, it's not about explaining. And it's not even about understanding. It's about releasing.
interesting.
It is beyond is and is not. Right? Just like we said, it's beyond that. It's beyond that time. It's beyond it all. It's beyond being and non-being. It's all of it. How do I know this is true? I look inside myself and see. And in this work, as we get to this place of not associating with the physical, whether that's thought or body or space or time, as we take all of those things and put them where they belong, which is, they're all constructs, we are left with what is. And that's something that connects everybody and connects everything. And then and that's why it makes us radiant. And that's why it also can put our mind to it. Even if it's ungraspable, the more we try to grasp it, the more we lose it.
Yeah.
But by just allowing it, that by receiving the fact that that's there, there's nothing to receive. I mean, we're always receiving it, but just like by allowing that which is in our grasp to let go of grasping.
Yeah.
That's what's
You've
left.
heard of the concept of the ego, right? And yeah. And so, the question that was, one of the things that, Dr. Rao talks about is about, if you observe, is it leading by, your actions are leading by ego or by, by your other self, right? So those are the kind of things that kind of helps in terms of navigating through, what situation we are in or what scenario in life brings us, right? So
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, I don't have much time with you, but I certainly enjoy our conversation. Thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming up. I appreciate it. And 21, what a beautiful verse to cover with you, I think,
Yeah.
especially because you're working with Dr. Rao and his group, and this journey is, it's dark, but it is so worth it. It's just like you don't know.
Yeah, it's the unknown and it's also adventurous and it's beautiful because it's life, right?
That's right.
It-
Yeah,
yeah. So thank you, Martin. Have an
absolutely.
awesome day.
You as well.
Take care.
You
Bye bye.
as well. I know Julie was in line. If you're still here, definitely come back up. If not, no big deal. Love talking with you, of course. I want to mention one more time that tomorrow, 4 p.m. Central, I will be doing a room that will be Ask Me Anything About My Dark Retreat. So if you're interested in the dark retreat that I recently returned from, I would be happy to answer any of your questions. I'll be setting up the room for you guys to have 5 minutes to come up, ask questions. I'll respond as best I can, and if you have any follow-ups, you'll be able to address those as well. So yeah, well, I'm Martin John, your host. I also host the Recover Yourself podcast, and you can find me on Instagram. DM me if you want to work together, if you enjoy what you're getting from me, if you enjoy the content that I'm producing. I encourage you to tip me through Venmo at martinjohn_Garcia, or you can do it through Linktree. My link is in my profile. Other than that, I love you guys. I hope you're having a great day. Enjoy the end of your week. And until next time, keep recovering yourself.